Hello, everyone. Welcome. We're just going to give a few minutes and let folks get into the webinar. We appreciate you being here today for today's or Building Tomorrow's Workforce by CRF. We've got some great speakers for you. We'll give it just one more minute. Okay. And as we're letting people go ahead and get logged on, we will be monitoring the Q&A and the chat. So if you have any questions that come up, please feel free to go ahead and put them into the Q&A. And at the end of the session, then we'll be going through that and answering any questions that we have. All right. Well, it looks like we've got a good share of the people already signed on. So I'm going to turn it over to Laura Shunk, the president of the Colorado Restaurant Foundation, to kick off the webinar. Laura?
Great. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. I'm Laura Shunk. I'm the president of the Colorado Restaurant Foundation. And for those of you who are employers, I know several of you are already involved in our programs. Some of you may be joining our webinar to find out more about our programs. But just kind of as a 40,000-foot view of what we do at the foundation, we are really here to be your workforce development and recruiting one-stop shop, if you will. We want to provide you with the tools that you need to hire employees and to retain them. We are unique in this world because we work both with the employee side and the employer side. So we run programs to help employees gain the skills that they need to get into the industry and then to move up in the industry. And we're going to talk about what those programs are. But then we also work with employers. We are part of the Colorado Restaurant Association, and so we take very seriously our role in helping you as an employer both have access to our training pipelines, our talent pipelines, finding employees that you need, especially in an environment like we're in right now where it's hard to hire talent, and then also have the tools that you need to be able to move those folks along and up into leadership positions within your restaurants. So we are in a multitude of programs in this capacity, and Stacey's going to talk about the specifics of that. But we want you to know, if you have questions about hiring or advancement or retention tools, please come to us. You're going to hear about how to work with some of the folks who are participants in our programs today and tools that we have to help you do that. But if you've got questions that we don't cover today, or other groups, or if you want to hear more about where you might be able to meet employees, potential employees, please get in touch with us, because that is really that's what we do. So today we are going to do a few things. We're going to talk about all the programs that I just mentioned, and where really you can see kind of both the entry and the retention part of our foundation. And then we're also going to talk about tools for fostering inclusive hiring. A number of the groups that we work with groups that are maybe historically disconnected, or may have barriers to work that aren't necessarily their culinary skill set. So we have tools so that when you hire folks that may have some barriers, you can effectively work with them, effectively advance them, and they can become some of the greatest employees in your restaurants. And then we'll talk a little bit about just how we're building tomorrow's workforce together. So before I pass it off to Stacey to get into the specifics, just want to give you all a sense. I know operators, you live this every day, so probably none of these statistics are really going to surprise you. But the National Restaurant Association did survey a bunch of operators, and this is kind of what they're hearing loud and clear. 88% of operators are saying that they're going to hire within the next 6 to 12 months. Honestly, I am surprised that that's not 100%. We know that this is kind of a constant hiring industry. 70% have job openings that are hard to fill. And I think that really speaks to the current moment that we're in, but really even pre-pandemic, goes back that there are some positions within the restaurant that it's difficult to find qualified employees for. 27% of operators are saying that recruiting and retention are the most significant challenge that they're facing. And that's beating out the National Restaurant Association asked about food costs, the economy, labor costs, sales volume. Even those cost things are feeling less scary to a lot of operators than just being able to find talent. And then I think this one, 52% of operators last year did not operate at full capacity because they didn't have enough help. And so several of you may be in that boat. That is what we are trying to help you with, is to find talent, to think about where else you might be able to look for talent in a time where we have a labor shortage. And at this point, I think I will pass it over to Stacy to talk about our programs.
Great. Thank you, Laura. So CRF, to help employers, fill some of these gaps of those challenges that Laura just talked about in those statistics, we have built out our programs on a continuum. And from that, it's from career exploration into career pathway. And so what this chart shows you is just all of our programs. So we have Colorado Pro Start, Restaurant Ready. We are piloting a bridge program this summer, which is an internship program that then leads into our apprenticeship program. And so on this continuum, we start with learning about work. And so you can see Restaurant Ready and Pro Start really are those areas for individuals to learn about our industry, to start developing some skills to get them ready for the workforce. Then we take it to the next step of learning through work. And so learning through work is going into pre-apprenticeship programs. And you're going to hear about a couple of our pre-apprenticeship programs today. It also goes into internship, which is the bridge program that we're piloting this summer. So this is that kind of entryway for an individual to kind of dip their toe in the world of work. And when we're looking at the pipelines of that we are creating at CRF through ProStart with high school students, through all of our Restaurant Ready partners and their training programs with folks that may have some barriers to employment, having an internship or a softer landing into employment can really be very beneficial. And so that's why CRF is investing in piloting this program, the Bridge program this summer, and hopefully expanding it post the pilot. This all then leads to learning at work. And so this goes into apprenticeship. So CRF has been working on apprenticeship for the last 4 years. With the National Restaurant Association Educational Foundation. We offer a registered apprenticeship through the U.S. Department of Labor that starts with certified line cook and then creates career pathway. And many of you are apprenticeship employers, and so you know all of this, but creates career pathway from line cook to kitchen manager to restaurant manager. And so what CRF is doing is creating this whole pipeline of education, starting to just learn about our industry, then all the way into creating career pathways for individuals. And in the survey that you're going to get post the webinar today, I'm going to be asking you if you're interested in participating or helping us in any of these categories, right? And so it might be wanting to be a mentor to a ProStart program or to our Restaurant Ready program, or going and speaking about your experience with any of our Restaurant Ready partners or our ProStart programs as well, all the way into them maybe being an internship site, or also then expanding into apprenticeship or expanding your apprenticeship offerings if you're already an apprenticeship employer. But we wanted to share just a couple stories because I feel like that's really what makes all of this, kind of stick for us and creates meaning for myself and I feel like the CRF team on the work that we're doing. So the first story I'd like to share is about Daniela. Daniela is from ProStart. Or was from ProStart. She was graduate. She was one of our first apprentices. And she has completed her apprenticeship at Shook, her line cook apprenticeship, and now is moving on to the kitchen manager apprenticeship with that same employer. She's a very valued employee there. And like she said in her quote, like she found her passion for our industry through ProStart, which is a CRF program, and now is just expanding that and really developing herself through her apprenticeship program. And we just love, I mean, it's a COVID picture, but we love that picture of Daniela with her mask and holding up her chicken. You might have seen it in other of our postings. So a couple other things we just want to talk to you about, like, what does it mean about like creating an inclusive work environment? What is it about having a diverse workforce? And so there's a few studies that have been done about this, especially in the hospitality industry. We all know, the hospitality industry, restaurant industry, we are naturally drawn to having a more diverse workforce in our industry. But what I'd like to highlight on this and on this study from the Cornell School of Hospitality are those first three bullet points. On those top three, specialized training, mentoring programs, and unconscious bias training, all of those are built into our apprenticeship program. Right? And so this is a way of naturally, if you're an apprenticeship employer, naturally building into your restaurant and your training program, of building a more diverse workforce. The other one I wanted to highlight is an Accenture study that we found that was saying really when you are open and see of bringing in folks that have disabilities into your business, that there's actually a benefit to employers, a benefit that comes in increasing revenue, increasing kind of overall net income. So really, once we get through today, you're going to have some of the tools available to you to really be able to see how you can adopt in your businesses, hiring folks that might have some barriers to employment and the resources that are available to you to help you transition in that and look at your training in a different way. And here's one story too that I'd love to share with you. It's about Kyla. Kyla is from Skills Enrichment Center. And I think this is just a great story. She went through Skills, their Restaurant Ready program. She started her apprenticeship with their social business enterprise. She also was honored this November from Apprenticeship Colorado as an Apprentice of the Year. And now she is a manager at a Subway, right, in Colorado Springs, and is really thriving. And this is just, Randy will talk more about her program in just a few minutes, but really just a great story of where when we give an individual the training that they need and the support that they need, then they can come out into the workforce and really thrive and now be in management positions in food service. Then the other areas that we want to look for is, not just to folks with disabilities, but with other barriers to employment. And so there are benefits of hiring individuals that have been justice involved. And you can kind of look through, see some of the bullet points, but a few of the items that I'd really like to highlight is that when you look at hiring someone that is justice involved, it is proven that there is a higher retention rate. There is a support network for these individuals and higher accountability. because of all the supports they have around them. And then through programs that you're going to learn about here in just a few minutes, is that they have the training and support of our Restaurant Ready programs and those case managers that work with them every day, of them being able to help them as they are in your restaurants working, and getting used to that world of work again. So really just huge benefits. And all of these individuals, they have the support of their training providers, they have the support of CRF to be successful in your businesses and successful for you. And here is another story. So Kimberly just started, she just started her certified line cook apprenticeship, but she went through Work Options pre-apprenticeship program. And then through that, she was actually able to connect with her employer. And then we brought that employer on as an apprenticeship employer. So right now she is just starting out her apprenticeship, but on that next step. And she really got herself set up through doing pre-apprenticeship with Work Options. And you'll be learning a little bit more about that here in just a moment. And so that's just to tell you and just kind of highlight a few stories about the individuals that are coming through CRF's talent pipelines and through all of our programs. And that next step is helping get them to you and getting them to be thriving in working in your businesses. So to help you understand a little bit more about each of our Restaurant Ready programs, then I'd like to introduce to you our Restaurant Ready partners. And each of them are going to just speak for a few minutes about their programs and the participants that they serve. And as you're going through this, if you have any questions, please feel free again to put them into the chat. And then on the survey that we're going to be sending out, I'll be asking too, if there are any of these organizations that you would like a direct connection with, that maybe speak to you and that you would like to help those organizations grow and thrive themselves. So with all of that, we're going to go ahead and start off with our first two. Jeff Cook from Chef will kick us off, and then Michael Gruber from Culinary Boot Camp for Veterans will speak about his program. And unfortunately, Patrick Kane from the Department of Youth Services could not be with us today. So we'll go ahead, and Jeff, I will kick it over to you to talk a little bit about Chef.
Thank you, Stacy. Yeah, my name is Jeff Cook. Good morning, everybody. I am the executive director of Chef, and it's Culinarians Helping Entrepreneurial Folks. We're a recovery-focused culinary/restaurant training program. Our folks come from, recently released from prison or jail, living in a halfway house, living in sober living, housing insecure, just really need a hand up, a reboot. And we offer a 1-week training program for folks that have experience and they just need to come in and get a refresh. We help them get their ServSafe certificate, help them with resume, interview skills, maybe brush up on some culinary skills, and then get them into job search. The next level that we offer is a 4-week training program, and it encompasses the same as the 1 week, but it's a little more in depth with the restaurant and culinary training. Embedded in all of this, that our students go through 4 recovery meetings a week with our certified peer recovery coach. They do 1 healthy living class a week, which entails emotional intelligence, how to work in a team, basic nutrition, how to write a personal budget, topics such as that. And then they do trauma-informed yoga once a week. We're really focusing on the person and helping them to rebuild and regain their confidence and get their, confidence back up. We also offer the line cook, the restaurant manager, and the kitchen manager apprenticeship after they have completed the 4-week training program. And we're always looking for restaurant partners that are felony friendly and can help our folks get back into society and gaining a living wage. So that is Chef, and I will introduce Chef Michael.
Great. Thank you, Jeff. Chef Michael, if you want to unmute.
Hi, everybody.
There you go.
I'm unmuted.
Yes.
No matter how much I do technology, I'm still inept. Hi, everybody. My name is Michael Gropper from Culinary Arts Boot Camp for Veterans. We're a 501c3 out of American Legion Post 1 that's veteran-centric, and we work with veterans that are homeless or in transition or who have been incarcerated with an 8-week culinary arts program here at American Legion Post 1. Not only to provide an 8-week culinary arts training program to enter the restaurant industry as line cooks or prep cooks, but we also support them with the tools to successfully do that by providing them resources within the veteran community, such as housing resources, mental health support. We provide them uniforms, salaries, everything they need in a sense to just successfully reintegrate and have a foundation. So when they move on to one of our employer partners, they already have a place to live. They have all the resources put in place so they can actually show up and ready to work. A really exciting program. Like I said, we're veteran-centric. We believe in that, being and working with other veteran organizations that who knows veterans better than ourselves to support them within this program. And what a better way to do it than the brigade system within a kitchen, which we're very all familiar with as veterans from prior military service, which supports our success.
Right.
I think that's all we do.
All right.
We do a lot of stuff
you
too.
do a
and
lot.
We do a lot as well. That's just really a nutshell of what we do. We'd like to think of ourselves as not only as a culinary arts program, but a successful reintegration program. And supporting them here at the Post allows us not only to provide resources at the Post, but also give an opportunity to practice what they learn through an OJT, through Full Battle Rattle Deli, our partner program, so that they can learn through the curriculum that we provide while providing the on-the-job training and then supporting them with the other resources needed so that they successfully reintegrate. Wonderful. And Stacy saw us, so it was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. I was able to go down to the American Legion and see them in action, and it was a great visit. Thank you for what you're doing, Michael.
I appreciate it.
All right. Well, we're going to move on to a couple other of our restaurant ready partners. We have 7 actually restaurant ready sites across the state. And so with this group, I would like to introduce Adam Bertinelli, Megan Boyerbacher, right? Oh, let's see. Hopefully I got that, Megan, and Lori Loretta. And so, Adam, I'm going to let you take it over for Housed, Working, and Healthy.
Thank you, Stacy. Hi, how's everybody doing today? So Housed, Working, and Healthy is a culinary and hospitality vocational training program. We're at 12 to 16 weeks. In that program, what we believe is it's just like the fire triangle. There's a triangle of self-sufficiency, which includes employment, housing, and mental health. What we do is we help our participants get into, vouchers, subsidized sober living or independent housing while they're attending our kitchen for 12 to 16 weeks. While they're attending our kitchen, they'll earn certifications in food handler, allergen awareness, culinary quick start, and of course, restaurant ready. We weekly have a restaurant ready course for 2 hours being taught, along with the modules that we test on. We offer weekly peer counseling and therapy through the Maria Drost Foundation and the Colorado Mental Health Wellness Network. We also send our participants out into the culinary externships at Cafe 180 and Graceful Cafe, which are food sustenance sites. Our population's demographics are quite wide-ranging and varied, with the key thing to bring us all together is that housing is the thing that we're struggling to be self-sufficient in. We recruit individuals who are experiencing housing insecurity, whether that's at a shelter, on someone's couch, at their own place, but they're still at risk. Also, we recruit individuals experiencing mental health barriers, food insecurity, and those with a criminal record looking to work in this industry. And we're always looking for more hiring partners and have opportunities for on-site collaboration with partners. If anyone wanted to come in to participate in giving our students and our demographic a view of what your industry, your specific restaurant may have, we're always interested in that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Adam. Megan from Manna Soup Kitchen.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Megan Feuerbacher, and I'm the culinary manager at Manna Soup Kitchen. Manna got started a long time ago just feeding people, and then in 2014, we realized that some barriers participants had were finding jobs, and so we started the culinary program, as Durango has one of the top restaurants per capita, right up there with San Francisco. And there's a ton of turnover, but there's always new restaurants popping up. So we decided to have restaurant job skills training. And I was brought on post-COVID in 2021 to kind of revamp what we were doing, talk to chefs in town, restaurant owners, see what the need really was for hiring people because of our job shortages. And so our newly refurbished culinary program looks like 5 weeks, where participants are in class about 4 days per week. We incorporate restaurant ready in the first 4 weeks. And everything kind of builds on each other. So we've got like safety focus in week 1, where we get our serve safe food handler's license. And then we work through the basics of knife skills to cooking skills to reading recipes. We have guest chefs come and work with us every week, and we work on resumes and lots of life skills. Something we realized at Manna was a lot of barriers to employment were the resources, like basic resources that some people don't have access to. And so we've turned the soup kitchen concept into more of a resource center. We have case management. We have a program for people getting out on parole to reintegrate back into the community. We have housing partners. And I'm always working to network with chefs and cooks in town to get people jobs after graduation. I've gone through 11 sessions since I've been here, and we'll start my 12th one next week. About half my classes are open enrollment adult classes for anyone in the community. And I have anyone from unhoused participants to people already working in restaurants wanting to kind of get a little promotion there. We also work with high schools in the area that don't have a Pro Start program or have lost funding for their home ec or cooking classes. And so we work with high schools and do internships with them to go through culinary training. And then I lost my train of thought. But yeah, it's a super fun class, and I'm happy to answer any questions anyone might have.
Thanks, Megan. Appreciate that. Lori from Osage Cafe, would you like to tell us a little bit about your program?
Yeah, so I am Lori Larita, and I've been with Denver Housing Authority, which is, that's my boss. So we have an internal 501c3, which is the Youth Employment Academy. A lot of our focus has been to really support our communities that we serve as Denver Housing Authority, and how are we able to get our young adults ready for the workforce. And we realized that we really needed to have a culinary academy that we needed to get started that had hand-in-hand, hands-on service. So in 2013, we had created a social enterprise, our first and only social enterprise at that time, called the Osage Cafe, which is training the back of the house, front of the house, but then also working in real life cafe experiences. So our goal was to not just give them academic training, but to also follow it up with hands-on training as well as customer service focus. Most of the youth that we were working with, this was the first time they've really been open to employment options, because their families have maybe lived in housing and not had a hospitality position or have worked. So we wanted to really make sure that we served them holistically and full heart by giving them life skills, training them on the surf safe, working with food, and working with nutrition. So in 2013, we started to do that. And we noticed after COVID, we had to pivot. So our training kind of changed a little because we weren't in person anymore. We were still providing food for some of our first responders, but we really had to pivot and say, what does this look like? And how can we employ more individuals that go through our program? So we were able to expand in a capacity of opening up a wholesale component. So we were able to serve more individuals through safe food handling, also nutrition, weighing, labeling, meal prep. So we just had to really grow and figure out, how do we keep our programming not just a cafe open, but still have ways to serve our youth that we were training into positions. So in 2020, we transitioned over into, well, I shouldn't say transition, we expanded our services by having community grocery stores in the Sun Valley and the Mariposa community, and then also adding the restaurant. So we're just trying to find different ways to serve our youth that go through our program. And it's just really being creative and saying, okay, if we do a wholesale, we can get at least like 3 individuals working hands-on and teach them those skills. And then over at our restaurant, we've got front of the house, back of the house, and then obviously inventory and retail. We do have a lot of youth that after COVID had just really had some, we needed to really focus on mental wellness. So really, how do we incorporate that in their work experience without throwing them into the public at front of the house? So it was really having this space of our wholesale location, which is where I'm at right now, and being able to work through them and having those conversations, because some youth and some adults were isolated during COVID. So it's really learning new skills and what ways can we really be creative in employing them after going through training. So we partner with Colorado High School Charter for their elective services. So we do that during school season. And then in the summer, we really are lucky. We have a partnership with Denver Public Schools and working with their youth that have their Work Alliance program. So we work with individuals that have different IEPs and different learning options or opportunities for us to learn from. So those are usually about 7 to 8 weeks that we go through, and then it turns into employment as well. So at that time, we really see what their skills are and where their strengths, and then we try to fit them into one of the components, whether it be a grocery component, whether it be wholesale, cafe, or back of the house line cook. So we're lucky that we're able to be flexible in adding training components, but we really are more focused on, yes, let's train them, but then we also have to serve them by doing hands-on experience, because we don't want to set them up for failure when they do go to a new employer.
Great. Thank you, Lori.
You're welcome.
And I just wanted to mention too that both Osage and Manna Soup Kitchen are going to be part of our bridge program pilot. And so, we're very thankful for both of these organizations for willing to work with us to launch a new internship program and having that be part of their social business enterprises as well. So we have 2 more restaurant ready organizations to round out our group here. So first, I'd like to introduce Randy Van Ness from the Skills Enrichment Center. And then Gabby Pants from Work Options will be sharing about work options. So Randy, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you to tell us a little bit about skills and your participants.
Hi, everybody. I'm Randy Van Ness with Skills Academy Vocational Center. We're a vocational center that started 3 years ago working with special needs adults who face 83% unemployment or underemployment and are just dying to work. So what we did is we put together a whole program partnering with the Restaurant Association, getting these people ready to work. And as you heard about our person, Kayla, that we're doing a damn good job of it. They're taking national awards and it's really awesome. People never thought, oh, let's go to the special needs community and get jobs. But you've got to remember, most of the people in the special needs community are high functioning autism and ADHD and can do everything everybody else can. They just need a checklist to follow. And, you know, sometimes some redirection, and that's about it. Other than that, they run circles around everybody else. And the latest statistic is after 3 years, 78% of special needs adults are still on the same job. So they don't hop jobs for an extra 10 cents an hour. They don't not show up because their boyfriend broke their heart. They just want to work and want a chance to work. Our newest project is we found out that over 86% of the youth in the youth facility detention facilities have autism, ADHD, or learning disabilities. So we'll now be working with justice involved youth all throughout Colorado on getting them trained while inside. And then when they come out, we do a 2-month transition and get them right into jobs. So they come fully certified in line cook.
It looks like we lost Randy there for a second.
Line part, short and sweet. So that's our program. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Randy. Appreciate it. And Gabby?
Yeah, my name is Gabby Patz. I'm the manager of student services at Work Options. So like a lot of these programs, Work Options is a nonprofit culinary training and job readiness program. So our program is 5 weeks long. So students spend about 175 hours training side by side with our program chef instructors in the kitchen, learning different food service basics and helping prepare food for our Helping Hand Cafe, which we recently opened. In addition to that, they're also receiving job readiness training and case management services. So they have 4 different classes each week. They have 2 with a cognitive behavioral therapist. It's our Mind Over Matter class. And then they also have a job readiness class where we talk about resumes, interviewing, job retention, all that good stuff. And then we do a financial health class as well. In addition to this, we've recently started offering the Line Cook Pre-Apprenticeship program. So that is in conjunction with our 5-week core program. After completing that core program, we have students that are able to move into our pre-apprenticeship program and get more of an intensive 2 months of hands-on training where they're really operating that Helping Hand Cafe for us. So taking food to order and running the grill, helping run the cash register, food preparation, all that good stuff. So we really work with anybody over the age of 18 that's eligible to work in the United States. All of our students come from very different walks of life. So we do have a lot of people coming out of incarceration or experiencing homelessness. And we also have people that just are looking for a career change. So we really don't discriminate against the populations we work with. We work with a lot of different people. And we would love for you guys to come try out our cafe and to potentially be an employer partner for us so we can train some students for you and get them working in your restaurants.
Great. Thank you, Gabby. And one thing I'd like to mention for all the apprenticeship employers that are on the line, Work Options Pre-Apprenticeship Program, when a pre-apprentice graduates Work Options program, they have completed about 95% of the related training instruction that goes along with the apprenticeship program. So really a Work Options pre-apprentice is really looking for focusing on their on-the-job training to complete their apprenticeship program. on that too. And one thing before we move on, you've had a chance to hear from all of our Restaurant Ready partners, and thank you all for speaking, all of our partners. I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of where they're all located. So the majority of our Restaurant Ready partners are in the Denver metro area, except for Manna Soup Kitchen, which is located in Durango, and then Skills Enrichment Center, they're in Colorado Springs, and then now also in Denver as well. So just to kind of give you a little context of where these programs are. If you are outside the Denver metro area and you do know of organizations that are doing some of this work, and you think would be a great connection to CRF to bring into kind of that restaurant ready fold, please, on that survey, I will have an area for that. So if you have any referrals of community-based organizations that you think would be a great fit for Restaurant Ready, we would love to be connected with them. So I'd like to introduce our last speaker. CRF has really formed a strong relationship with the state and state resources for all of our programs. We really feel like having a strong partnership with the Colorado Department of Labor and Employment and the Division of Vocational Rehabilitation. All of these are key to helping us help the industry and our workforce in general. And so Tiffany Garcia is the business outreach specialist for the Division of Vocational Rehabilitation, but she also sits on the advisory board for our apprenticeship program as well. And she's here today just to share with you a little bit about what resources there are for you as employers from DVR, and to bust some myths about working with folks with disabilities. So Tiffany, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you.
Wonderful. All right, let's get this started. Okay. Stacey, you got slides? There we go. Okay, so we're going to do breaking barriers, employing people with disabilities. Most of this presentation is like an hour long. We're just doing a little size of it so that if you have any questions down the road, you can reach out to Stacey and get back with me. The audience is cautioned that the information contained in the presentation is intended as solely informal guidance and should not be used for determining your legal rights or responsibilities under the law, and is not binding on any agency with enforcement responsibilities under the ADA. So talking about DVR, what do we believe? All people with disabilities can choose a career path that's meaningful towards independent living, and that anyone with a disability who wants to work can work, no matter or regardless of the severity of their disability. And we also seek to be a resource and partner with those in achieving employment that aligns with the business needs. So we're also helping individuals with disabilities, but then also those businesses that we partner with. So what is a disability? Let's break that down right now. According to the ADA, a disability is defined as a person who has a physical or mental impairment that substantially limits one or more life activities. A person who has a record of such impairment, even if they do not currently have a disability. And then a person who does not have a disability, but they're regarded as having a disability. What is this? What are these right here? So a person who has a record but doesn't have it now. This could be someone that's in a car accident and they had hip surgery, but then they got to wait till the hip surgery heals before they have to find out if they have to have the knee surgery, and so on. This is also long-term COVID. This applies towards cancer and in recovery. Also in this line is those in active recovery from drugs. So that is considered a disability. Also, a person who does not have a disability but's regarded is someone that maybe has something different that looks different about them. So when people talk to them, they talk to them differently. This also falls in those lines of their name is Sarah, but they look like a Tom. So that is considered disability. Next. So we're going to talk about some myths about people employing people with disabilities. Okay, these are really cool. So common myth 1 is they're a liability. They're more likely to have an accident. They're more likely to get sued. Your insurance comp rates are going to go up. People with mental health issues, they could hurt someone. So the facts are people with disabilities tend to be safer on this site. So they don't just sue employers because they feel like it. And then insurance costs are based on the relative hazards of the operation. And then only 3 to 5% of violent acts can be attributed to those with serious mental issues. Myth number 2, employing people with disabilities is expensive. Accommodations are expensive. They'll need more sick days and more than the other people. They'll miss a lot of work because of their disability. They'll slow productivity, and it's just going to cost you more money. Well, the fact is, just like we were saying from everybody previous about the 3 years on employment still and staying with the same company, this is true. Accommodations are rarely expensive, mostly costing absolutely nothing. And then for those with the cost, it's usually $500 or less on average. And then people with disabilities take no more sick days than their peers, and they tend to be more reliable on the job, driving more productivity. Myth 3, people with disabilities have low work performance. Common expressions are, oh, they aren't capable of doing the work, don't perform as well with the disabilities. They make people uncomfortable. They're affecting others' work performance, and they don't really want to work. They just want to live off the government. Anyway, they won't stick around. Fact is, people with disabilities perform just as well as anyone else, especially when they're given the accommodations where needed. Also, disabilities may be uncomfortable for many, but people with disabilities drive that creativity and that diversity. I have seen teams become stronger. The work ethic becomes stronger because they're working with individuals with disabilities. Also, people with disabilities do not want to live off the government because we don't pay enough. Next. There we go. People with disabilities are hard to hire and retain. So at DVR, we do practice that training. Any of these individuals that's qualified as with those disabilities can seek DVR services. We help with education. We help with the employment. We work with recruitment, retention, education, and partnership. So we are that partner for you. So common expressions for hard to hire and retain is you must hire someone who discloses a disability so you don't get sued. You can't ask about their disability at all. Employers can't take disciplinary actions. It's considered a pity hire even when they aren't qualified, and they're harder to train. So fact, again, is you must hire the most qualified person. You can ask, how will you be able to perform the essential functions of the job? Employers can discipline people with disabilities as they would any other employee. And we don't want you to hire a person with a disability because you feel sorry for them. We want you to hire because they were the most qualified and they bring value to your business. So what are the benefits for hiring people with disabilities? Well, they increase your diversity of your workforce. So there's a larger talent pool of candidates. When you use skills-based hiring on your job postings and you make those job postings friendly so that more people apply, you increase the pool. So every increased employee motivation, it enhances workplace culture. It increases the loyal workforce, overall higher retention rates, highly reliable employees, and it addresses, this is what I see a lot. It's not just individuals with disabilities, but it's also that aging workforce. It's how do we retain the workforce that's in there? Aging workforce, skills, gaps, and labor shortages. What are the benefits that you can take advantage of? We have tax credits. We have architectural barrier removal tax deductions. We have disability access credits. And then you have people such as us, the agencies like DVR that are willing to educate you on ADA and etiquette and so many other things that we can do as a business, and or for helping individuals that are already working for you to move up and take advantage. So competitive advantage is social motivation brings brand image. And then an untapped market potential can show big increases of profit. We also increase innovation and creativity and increase team motivation. Woohoo! All right, have introspection. You see that, we recognize those barriers. This is the steps that you need to embrace to hire those people with disabilities, be proactive. And step 3, empower your people. Man, just taking those steps, I'll help you all the way. Next. Final thoughts. Individuals with disabilities are whole people with unique personalities, talents, interests, and dreams. And it's usually society's lack of accessibility that acts as the disability, not the person. And then you have more in common with individuals with disabilities than you think. And anytime you have any questions, no one knows more about the disability than the person with the disability. If that's the first thing you want to learn about etiquette, is ask the individual, how can I help you? How can I make this service good for you? What can we do? And in the end, I am with the Colorado Division of Vocational Rehabilitation. My name's Tiffany Garcia. We are based everywhere in Colorado. There is definitely a DVR near you. I serve as the lead business outreach specialist so that I can locate you or to your nearest DVR if you had an individual that wanted to get services, or if you're a business that wants to seek services of etiquette and ADA accommodations. Reach out to me. And I thank again Stacy for allowing me this time, and everyone here is doing some great work. So thank you for inviting me.
Oh, you're more than welcome. Thank you. And thank you for condensing that down into like 10 minutes. So if any of you are interested in learning more about the resources of DVR, please reach either directly out to Tiffany, or that will also be on the survey, and we will happily get you connected. And then Tiffany can get you connected with a business specialist in your region. So like she mentioned, they are all over the state. So these resources are available to you. So I wanted to just throw this out here. Mark, do we have, before we kind of wrap up, just wanted to see if there were any questions?
We do have one question that is, can we get a copy of this PowerPoint presentation? And we will have, we'll be sending out the presentation itself, and we're also recording this whole webinar. So if there's anything that anybody said that you want to hear again, that will be available, or for people in your organization that weren't able to attend.
Yes, absolutely. So just kind of to add on to what Mark just mentioned, we will send out the recording, the presentation, but also along with that, there will be a survey. And please take just a moment. It will be very short, probably less than 5 minutes for you to complete on this webinar. And if there are any organizations that you would like to work with directly, or if you just want to know a little bit more about CRF and our programming. Also along in that follow-up email, we will be giving you a toolkit with some resource links from DVR, and then also that have been created from Skills Enrichment Center and Work Options on working with folks, and all the resources that are available to you. So we really do appreciate your time today. And if we don't have any other questions, we'll give you an extra 5 minutes back. But thank you so much for joining us and helping us build tomorrow's workforce for the restaurant and hospitality industry. Thank you so much for your time today. Bye-bye.